What's your name and what do you do here?
My name is Osafu Adhor. I'm a student at UMass Amherst, and on the side, I ref at uh, intramural sports. So a regular day in the week is I have classes in the morning and afternoon. I go to them, and then in the afternoon, I probably will hang out with friends. But if not, I'll probably go back to my room, do some homework, do some studying. And then at nighttime, if there's a basketball game or something that I can watch, I'll probably watch that, wind down, go to bed, and then start again. Yeah, so at UMass, the ways I've explored my love for basketball is by I'm a practice player for the women's basketball team, so whenever they have practice, I would go in and I'll practice against the girls, and then they can build more toughness and go up against more like aggressiveness and physicality. And when I'm not doing that, I also ref the I also am a referee for intramural basketball. Yeah, so one of my friends at the practice player facility, he wanted me. He's like the manager of intramural basketball, so he wanted me to ref because he knows I play basketball, and he's like, "Oh, I think you'll be good." And I was like, "All right, like I wouldn't mind an extra money, so let's do it." So the times for intramural basketball were Sunday through Thursday, 6:30 was the first game. But all of those games take around an hour long, and the games end at 10:30 at night. And I would say there's times where referees are on the court for 3 games. There's other times where referees are on the court for one. All depends on their schedule. So in a game, our job as a referee is there's 3 referees on each court, one on the scoreboard in charge of keeping charge of team fouls and timeouts and the score. And there's 2 refs on the court who are watching the game and calling the calls. And there's going to be one who is in the lead, and there's one that's going to be trailing. So then they both have access to both sides of the court. Uh, the 3 referees they just went in a circle and decided between themselves who wanted to do the court and who wanted to do the scoreboard. So, and then but in the playoffs, the managers they told us where they wanted us. So the managers they just make sure that the managers are almost in charge of the referees, and they make sure that we're good and that we're understanding what's going on in the game, so then we can call the game as best as we can. They're in charge of making sure that we keep the right score, make sure we make the right foul call, and stuff like that. Yes, I have experienced some hostility from a player or a coach, and the way I dealt with that was that I just kept my cool. I made them understand that I'm here for them, and I'm just trying to direct it. I'm trying to ref the game as best as I can, and they have always been understanding of it. My experience in managing player conflicts was I would step in between and listen to what each player would have to say and figure out the best solution so then we could keep the game going. And that was the goal, was just to keep the game going so then both teams had a fair shot of winning. Yeah, there was one game where there was a push and that I had to intervene. And when that happened, I just made sure to get the teams to break it up, and I assessed the the play by giving them both technical fouls, so it was nothing hard for me to handle. I mean, the way that the players would want a referee to change their call, I did feel a little bit of pressure, but it's on me to keep my confidence up and know that I feel like I made the right call, so I'm going to stick with it. The only job that I would say is similar to intramural ref that I've done before is probably as a camp counselor because I gotta direct the game and I have to direct the kids. So I think those skills did translate because I was able to like talk to players how I needed to talk to them and deal with the different personalities. And that's what I do during camp all day, deal with different personalities throughout the whole day. Well, here it's tough to deal with different personalities because some people may take intramural basketball a little bit more serious than others. And so I just have to be able to differentiate and just talk to that one person and see how they're feeling about the game so then I know how I should talk to that person. So interacting with other referees were almost like interacting with the different players because they're all different. And some of them I could talk to a little bit more easier than the other ones. And some of them took their jobs more seriously than I did, and some of them took their jobs a little less serious than I did. So it was just having to see how they were and just interacting with them I saw how they were. Our relationship between the referees and the managers are pretty much, because there are peers as well, so it's a friendly relationship. They just make sure we're on top of our stuff. And whenever we have questions, we go to them. But other than that, it's just friendly. I think when it comes to intramural league, I think the way it is ran is through the best of their abilities, which but still means they could definitely improve for sure. But just the limited resources that they do have, how poor the Boyden gyms are, like there's a lot of things they can improve on, but I'm not gonna blame them because I just know how much other things goes around in the school. I think in terms of intramural basketball, there's a championship at the end, but like I think it's the players' attitudes towards it is perfectly fine. I just feel like if it was done more in a more serious way, if the league was ran more serious, I think maybe it would be a better results. Like for intramural basketball, you just go play and you play those games, make it to the playoffs, then you win the championship. It feels cool. You got a nice shirt, and that's cool. It's intramural basketball. Like there's nothing more than that I expect. But like a lot of teams, sometimes they don't even show up to the games and stuff like that. So it's like not necessarily adding another incentive, but just making it so then like the facilities are cleaner. Like if you could just do that, maybe it'll be a better results. I think aspects of intramural basketball that I would like to share is that a lot of the managers, they try their best and to not give them as much of a hard time. And that's like my one thing.
Where are we going?
Oh yeah, my day is done. Now it's time to head back home. I'm free, I'm saying?